On that notion of doing good with what you're good at doing, we all innately have talents and skills and resources to invest in our community. And tonight we're going to hear from amazing individuals who have dedicated their time and resources, both on the philanthropy and on the nonprofit side, to make our culture and our community stronger.
Why do you think you want a family foundation? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish? What is your charitable giving like? What's the amount on an annual basis? What do you plan to do going forward? And if you're just giving out to charities, which is perfectly fine, you don't need a foundation to funnel it through. We can save you a lot of time and effort and compliance. There's a line from a song, actually by the late George Michael, charity is a coat you wear twice a year. And if that's what you're thinking, that's a very different direction versus having a purpose. What is your purpose? And if you develop one, those are the foundations that survive and that the families do get involved in. And then these things flourish and make an impact.
Sometimes people think you need to be a big foundation to make a big difference, but family foundations can be very nimble, can be very innovative, and sometimes larger funders tend to fund the usual suspects, and there's a lot of really important groups that might be niche or small scale or a little bit just out of the ordinary. And I think when you invest in kind of the not obvious players, that your money goes a long way.
I think writing out checks is nice if you can afford to do it, but being actively involved yourself is what really counts. With all the money that we've given out as a family, our family members are really activists. Speaking for myself, over the last 19 years, I've spent half my time working on just one thing, affordable housing. The joy I get is watching system change, not watching receipts come back from checks that we've written.
One friend said that sometimes you need to give people a fish, sometimes you need to teach people how to fish, and sometimes you need to change the fishing industry. And I think that there is a perspective there that's really important, because sometimes, particularly when I talk about some of the innovative things that we're doing relative to venture philanthropy, I don't ever want to discount the other methods of making impact, because they all matter. The question is, what do you want to do? And then who can you do that with in partnership, because everyone isn't ready to change the fishing industry. So I think it's very important to, one, figure out what is the way you want to make impact and who you want to make that impact with, because it varies. I don't think that there's one good or bad way. I just think that understanding what the spectrum could be is really important, and then choosing the right partners to execute that with.
My recommendation to anybody thinking about what to do and how to make an impact is to think of impact in two ways: security and strategy. There are so many organizations like ours that when we are financially secure, we think strategically, okay? When we are not financially secure, our heads explode and we lose focus and we throw everything against the wall and we essentially revert to the thing that we hate the most, which is we become professional beggars. I didn't create Random Acts of Flowers to be a fundraising organization. I created Random Acts of Flowers so I could impact that person's life and the next person's life and the next person's life in as many cities as I could over and over and over again. But if you want to make a huge impact, find an organization. If you want one, I'll be happy to introduce you to one. But find an organization that is financially not secure and not thinking strategically, and then dig in deep and say, how can I give you the breathing room to think about your impact? Something like 95% of all nonprofits have less than 3 months of operating capital in the bank on any given time. And that's why a lot of them fail, because we don't have the room to breathe and think strategically. And if you just picked one organization and dug in deep, boy, you could do amazing things.
You ought to think also about helping that organization raise money. This isn't a question of being begging, but if you want to put an organization on sound financial footing, you have to have a plan. You have to have goals and objectives, but you have to have a financial plan. And you may be the person most necessary to go out and ask other people to give money. If you're going to make gifts, if you can afford it, make gifts that move the dial.